Folks, I'm here in my office on the beautiful campus of Western Kentucky University. I teach literature and writing classes here on the Hill, and one of my specialty areas is environmental literature. Some call it the literature of conservation, and if you want to get fancy, you could call it eco-literacy. A writer who's been very influential to me, he's a real hero of mine, and I don't cotton to hero worship too much, is Wendell Berry of Henry County, Kentucky. The man has written over 50 books, and he's been very influential on this younger generation of writers who want to go local. Many younger writers and farmers give Mr. Berry credit for influencing them. And for the past 50 years, Wendell Berry has been encouraging people to live locally. He's passed on this wisdom to me, and I pass it on to my students. Tonight, my students are across the way. They're hosting a 100-mile dinner featuring food from the Bowling Green area. I'm so proud of my students. They've put this dinner together on their own, and they've invited people from the community, they've invited administrators from the campus. What's the big deal about a 100-mile dinner? Let's go talk to some of these great visionary students and find out.
My dad had to work off the farm in order to support our family. With the 108 acres, you would think, well, he could make a good living there and support, his family, but that wasn't the case, and it wasn't the case with so many small farmers around where we grew up. Everybody commuted to Louisville or Lexington to work at a factory or some construction job or something in order to support their families.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the vision for the 100-mile dinner?
Well, this is an annual dinner. We have it every year since before I even came to Western, but this is the first time we've made it as big as this. Normally we just have it super low-key in the dorm rooms, but this year we rented this wonderful space and we had a lot of people. And the idea is just to get students and faculty and the community of Bowling Green and of Western together to sort of talk about local food and local food at Western specifically.
So this show is called The Local Traveler, and people hear a lot of talk about going local, but really, in the end, what's it matter? I'm being devil's advocate here, but so a 100-mile dinner, big deal. Why is that important?
For me, it's really important to know where my food comes from, and I think a lot about using my dollar wisely and making sure it's going to the right places. Because everyone says in the United States we vote with our dollar, and that is very much true. And I also think that the local food community and movement really creates a community. And so if I'm inviting these farmers here and people from the community, we get to know each other and create a sense of home.
I would always try to compare my prices with Kroger or Walmart or wherever. But am I making any money at those prices? And I would look at it, and sure enough, I wasn't making any money. I couldn't compete. So I started raising my prices to a level that I could make a living.
Mr. O'Daniel provided a large portion of the food for this meal. What do you consider to be the advantages of buying from Mr. O'Daniel at the farmer's market versus going to a big supermarket and getting your grub?
Well, obviously the money stays here in Bowling Green, and if I wanted to, I could go out to Mr. O'Daniel's farm and see it, help him one day, or...
And you'll know if there's a bunch of crap sprayed on the vegetables that you don't want on it?
It's healthier, it doesn't travel thousands of miles to get here, which is not good for the planet or for yourself. Yeah.
Amen to that. It uses a lot less oil when you buy locally than if you're getting your stuff shipped all the way from the Central Valley of California, right?
Exactly.
Folks, I'm here with super farmer Joe O'Daniel. Joe provided a lot of the food for this meal. Chicken and beef and Italian sausage and all kinds of greens and potatoes. Joe's invited us out to the O'Daniel family farm. And We're gonna go check that out next. Stick around. We look forward to coming to see your place, Joe. So folks, we were recently on Western Kentucky University's campus at the 100-mile food dinner that some of my students put on. And there we talked to Joe O'Daniel, and he invited us out to his farm. That's where we're going today. We're gonna see where all that food, that local food came from that the students served. The O'Daniels have been a prominent fixture in the Bowling Green farming community since 1987. They have a 116-acre farm on Barren River, and here we are, opening up to it. Joe, here we are at your farm. Thanks for having us out. Got to see you at the 100-mile food dinner on Western Kentucky University's campus recently, and I know you provide a lot of food for that, and a lot of the food you provided for that dinner came from these high tunnels here behind us.
That's right, Wes. It was the third week of February, and as we know in Kentucky, you can't grow much outside, so these high tunnels allowed me to really put a lot of food on the table at that dinner that night.
Now that night, do you remember what you served us?
Yeah, at least part of it. I had some free-range chicken there, some grass-fed beef, pak choy, had green kale, had collards, rutabagas, had some radishes.
It was all so wonderful too. And those are winter crops. Now you have some entirely new things in here for the spring, don't you?
Yeah, I still have a few of the winter crops that are finishing up, but I'm transitioning to the summer crops. I've got starting to put tomatoes and peppers and eggplant and squash out. But I still have things like spinach and chard and kale and lettuce still in the high tunnels.
And now you sell these vegetables. People can come out here to the house to get them, is that right? But mostly you sell at Sky Farmers Market?
Yeah, we sell at Sky Farmers Market. They're open from April through November, Tuesdays and Saturdays. We sell a lot of produce there, but we also sell here at the farm on Fridays. And we also deliver in Warren County in the winter months. We have a nice marketing system. We send out an email every week, and it has a list of everything we have, the pricing. If people are hungry and they want to order, all they have to do is reply back to the email, and we'll fix them up.
I'm familiar with your emailing system. My colleague at the university, Elizabeth Alsop, said she'd been buying stuff from you all winter and said it was wonderful.
That's right.
Kept her in good
Well,
shape.
thank you.
Stick around, folks. More Go Local is coming up. Stay tuned. So Joe, this is your drip irrigation system that you were talking about. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, I've got spinach on both sides of each one of these drip irrigation tapes.
Right.
And, you know, it puts the water right where the plant needs it. I don't have to use a lot of water, and it doesn't waste a lot of water by evaporation and that sort of thing.
So these are like big long hoses with some holes here and there.
Yeah, every 4 inches I've got little hose. I run the drip tape for maybe 15, 30 minutes, get it good and watered, and maybe next week I'll do it again.
And it uses much less water than like conventional watering systems do.
Yeah, and less disease too. You don't have that wet foliage all the time. You know, it's right there on the ground.
It's nice and warm in here. This is what enables you to grow throughout the winter, and you do sell vegetables during the winter to customers, right?
Yes, and you know, these high tunnels allow me to get a big jump on the market on everybody else. I've got tomatoes in here that surely wouldn't look like this the third week of April.
No kidding.
Outside.
Especially as cool as it's been this year.
Oh, it's been really late spring this year.
Our asparagus is really stunning right now because, well, of this really
been
extra
cool
cold
weather,
weather.
yeah.
You have fennel over here.
Got some Florence fennel, got some green kale, got some Swiss chard, got some more celery coming on. Of course, the spinach in the middle. Got some lettuce over here and some beets on the outside. They're hiding behind the Swiss chard over there. And some arugula on the other end. So got a lot of good things in here to eat.
I like all that, my friend. It's beautiful. Thinking about your customer base, like what's the most rewarding thing about doing this stuff, growing vegetables and animals for human consumption?
Yeah, I love to see people very happy about what they're consuming. And a healthy consumption is just so important for, you know, longevity for life, you know. It just makes me feel good. I had a girl to say that her daughter went to Spain, and she was 18, and when she came back, she's probably 10 years older than that now. And she said when she ate our chicken, she was back in Spain. And that made me feel so good, you know, and she was so thrilled and happy about that. It was wholesome, like she said it was in Spain when she was there.
And that's
you know.
because in Spain, I imagine you have more chances of getting a non-confined chicken
Yeah.
that actually has some muscle to it
Yeah.
than you would
And flavor,
over here, right?
and yes.
Y'all have 4 daughters, right?
Yes, and they grew up on the farm and did a lot of farm work growing up, and now their children, the oldest one is going to be 7 soon, and they all can't wait to work on the farm, you know. So we let them do things, but you know, as far as being really a productive worker, they have to be just a little older, you know,
Yeah, of
but they're
course.
excited.
Do you have any of your kids lined up to move into the business?
We talked to all of them about it, and they all talked to us about it, but my husband says, who's going to take over my empire?
That's right.
And we all laugh, but we hope someone will.
I hope somebody
you know.
does. It's a hard life
Yeah.
to sign up for in some ways, right? But also
Yes.
very rewarding.
Yes, yeah. So
Hey.
it's been fun, you know, hard work, but my mother-in-law said when I married my husband, she said, now farming is a good life, but it's a hard life. And she was right, you know, but it's very good.
Well, Debbie, Joe, thank you for showing us around your place. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm very impressed with all the stuff you produce for the local community. Joe, I know you were talking about the hard work that is involved in doing this kind of, well, this work. But, you know, the farmers now in Kentucky, they used to have tobacco and they no longer have it. I mean, what do you think about this kind of lifestyle that you have?
Well, Wes, I think it's a great business model for people to plug into. We've been very successful at it, but it takes a lot of hours. I don't always get Sundays off. Sometimes I have to do some work on Sundays as well. So, but we can make a living at it. We can even take a vacation occasionally. So we're getting a retail price for our product rather than a wholesale that most farmers have to do. And like I said before, my dad had to work off the farm to support his family. We don't have to do that. We both got college degrees from Western, but we still are able to make a living here on the farm exclusively. So.
And as long as there's this upsurge of interest and you have people willing to pay a fair price for your stuff, for your vegetables and your meats, then that makes this kind of small-scale farm economy more viable.
Yeah, you know, and you know, we try to grow without synthetic chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers. We try to be all natural. We're not a certified organic farm, but we feel like we're producing really wholesome, healthy foods for people to eat.
Indeedly, and local food tastes better, correct?
Yeah, we go to the Sky Farmers Market, and a lot of people, my favorite slogan is that, you know, local food is thousands of miles fresher, but we sell at the Sky Farmers Market, you know, here in Bowling Green, and really good market. Producer only farmers there and crafters that make their own stuff, so really good market.
Y'all should get on down to Sky Market. Thanks, Joe, Debbie.
Thank you.
You're lovely. Thank you all for having us out.